Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which means it's smile time. I'm just trying to get some things organized here. There we go. All right, so hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today is midsummer in the Northern Hemisphere and midwinter in the Southern Hemisphere. So, whichever one you're in, you're halfway through to the next season. Hi there, Jamie. Good to see you, honey. And I am pretty sure that roundabout now, a lot of people are beginning to feel a lot more pressure. And I believe that even more pressure in the coming weeks. And for that reason, I have decided, with consultation with Jody, that we are going to stop doing funnies on Friday evening. We are going to do more stuff about, keeping ourselves mentally on top of everything, teaching ourselves how to cope better, all those things, because that's what Dear Mama Sal is all about, helping you cope better. And so, I've just heard, for example, that here in Canada, our emergency program is about to run out. They're still trying to extend it a bit, but it's very possible that it's just about to run out. And so a lot of people are going to be struggling a lot more, and some of them will be my friends. And so it's going to put a lot of pressure on all of us. So what I'm going to do is start talking a lot more on Friday evenings about how we overcome things. And I hope that is something that you guys would appreciate. I wanted to give both Jody and Lauren a big round of applause for what they are coping with at the moment. I know a lot of you are coping with different things, but I don't often talk about Jody and Lauren because they're sort of part of what I call my inner circle. And just to give you an idea, Lauren this week, as I'm certain that you all know by now that Lauren is in a wheelchair and she's not 100% well herself. She's been going through a university course, and she, with all the struggle of the pandemic and everything else, she was really doing a great job of keeping up to date with everything to do with the university. And now her mother has ended up in hospital, which means that Lauren is now responsible for looking after her sister, and it could be for quite a while they help Lauren's mom. So now Lauren has had to go through this week the incredible decision whether to drop out of university, the course that she's doing, so that she can give herself enough space to do what she needs to do. And I want to say that because, let me just draw this for you. It requires two hands to get the lid off. So here you go. And you've got sort of, Lauren's world was all nicely segmented like this. And suddenly mom goes into hospital. Now then, that's an extra piece of the pie that she didn't have room for. And Lauren is smart enough, and let's give her a big round of applause, to know for that to fit into here, she's got to let go of something. Because not only has she got mom, but now she's also got the extra pie of her sister, that piece of the pie. So somewhere she's got to let go of something here to be able to have enough room. Does that visually make sense to you guys? Now, that's pretty adult thinking. And I've got to give her full credit. Okay, what did you do? Okay, so hang on a second, people. Somewhere in my life, we know I've got the eraser. Well, Lauren, isn't this exactly what the situation is for you? You say, oh, thanks, but isn't that literally what you're dealing with? How do you fit these two pieces of the pie into your already full pie? The only thing you can do is let go of something else, and then you're going to have room. You see, what I want to give you kudos for, Lauren, is that's called how to deal with overwhelm. You have to let something go. If you're overwhelmed, you can't fit it into a pie that is already full. So big round of applause to you. You see, hi, Beth, good to see you. Beth is saying, my biggest grievance is the fact that essential workers are forced to work amidst the pandemic. I exposed myself to someone who is the virus because it's my job. Where is my hazard pay? I think that's a very good question. You could choose to leave your job, all right? That's your, if you look at what can you control, the only thing you can control is whether you do the job, Beth. I'm not minimizing your point because I think your point is very, to me, very painful but true. And I know that, you got the virus because of that. So how, I think you're right. Where is your hazard pay? You should be getting it. Before I forget, I just wanted to, has anybody not seen Yellow Watermelon? I just want to make sure that I don't eat it all up before I forget to show you. Well, Bethy, we'll gladly call you Bethy. Lauren's saying, if I try and do too much, I will end up sick, and which will be disastrous because I won't be able to look after my sister. Adult thinking. Well done, Lauren. But to do that, you've got to let go of something. That was the interesting thing for me, that you have grown that much. All right, so here you go. Yellow watermelon. I want to tell you, I've never had it before last week. And I know what you're asking me, Sal. Does it taste the same? It tastes yellow. Tastes exactly the same. I mean, if I close my eyes, I wouldn't know it's yellow watermelon. Yes. Thank you, Jody. Jody's saying, for Lauren, adult thinking and selfless, putting the family needs ahead of her university aspirations. No, Sharon, that's why I thought I'd show you. It's when I cut open the watermelon, I'm going, why isn't it the right color? I'm going, maybe it's not done yet. And then I tasted it. You know me, I'm a risk taker, so I tasted it and I went, yeah, it's done. So good. Very watery. Okay, next one. Next up for a round of applause, please. Jody. Beth says my diet today was potato chips and a pickle. Yeah. Beth, you need to eat more than that because you got a weight loss problem. I got the weight gain problem. You've got the weight loss problem. So here's Jody's thing. Why am I holding this up? I don't need this yet. I like to demonstrate things, don't I? Anyway, so Jody, as some of you know, Lionel's father passed away a few months ago. And now the brother is organizing the get-together, the get-together being the celebration of life. And he wants to do it in September, like next month. And he's expecting people to fly in from all over to do this. And, I think you all know that Jody is extremely vulnerable. She's just overcome cancer and then lymphedema and then all other things that also add up for her. And, there is no way that she can do this trip. Never mind the risk to her health if she did do it. And so it's really interesting that the brother doesn't seem to care that there is an issue at all. And so now what Jody and Lyle have to decide, and I think they have decided already, which is, do they take a deep breath and know that the father has passed, and this is not about pleasing the father. This is about upsetting the family. How many of you know that one? Where you're going to do something that's going to upset the family. Hi, Bernie, it's good to see you. And so Jody and Lionel have decided they're not going. They're going to stay and be safe. And I'm pretty certain that a lot of you are going, yeah, no brainer, of course. You know, I had a major event this afternoon, and I hope you will forgive me if I talk about this. I heard that Sturgis, the big motorcycle rally, is going ahead. They're expecting 250,000 people not wearing masks, and that apparently is part of the selling point. You don't have to wear a mask. Just come. Now, I don't know about you, but 250,000 bikers meeting up at Sturgis without masks, with masks would be terrifying, but without them, to my mind, I'm sorry, I've got to say this, it should not be allowed, in my view. That is just unthinkable, because they're all going to come. Here we go again, Sal. Right? They're going to come from all different parts of the US into Sturgis. Yeah, Jody, Jody's saying one gigantic petri dish. Okay. Oh, interesting. Beth is telling us that Dollar General is starting Instacart in 3 weeks. Thank you. I'm hoping my dollar store does as well here in Canada. All right, so they're all going to come, 250,000 of them. And they're going to get good and drunk, and there won't be any social distancing, you know that. And now what's going to happen is they're all going to then return to their communities around the States. How many of you are going, yikes? If that isn't a disaster waiting to happen, I don't know what is. Yep. And just before an election. My rant is now over. I just want to make sure you all understand what's happening here. Please keep the border with Canada closed. And so, wow, Beth is saying we are also a FedEx drop-off and pickup and Western Union. I hope they allow more employees for all of this. We are down to 4 employees now. Wow, that is scary, Beth. Sharon, love your input there, Sharon. Sharon says, does alcohol kill the virus? If so, it wouldn't survive the rally in Sturgis. Yeah, you're right. Or the other question I'd ask, what about weed? You know, can it survive, a toke or 3? Because if so, that also is going to help, isn't it? So Lauren's saying, I'm so incredibly fed up with the ignorant people. There is a protest in a state in Melbourne this weekend protesting the need to wear masks. Yeah. So you understand, it's just insane. And I am, and nothing I can do about it, except go, really? Right. And Bernice is saying, we just got keys from our leasing office person for a few minutes. It was scary enough with the masks. Yes. We can just stay safe for ourselves. Good. And you remember I was saying that to you months ago. You know, I need you to realize we cannot control the stupid people. We can only control ourselves, which is why I believe we should all give an incredible round of applause to Jody and Lionel, who, as difficult as it's going to be, and, you know, it's like going to be a big family judgment on them to not go, but they're going. Better that we are alive. Ah, interesting. All right, Beth is saying that she watched the QB video. And why were those two guys not wearing masks? I just worry about you, Sal. Okay, Beth, here's the story. They did wear masks to go and collect it and so forth. They are part of my pod. We have decided that certain people we will allow, you know, and they were, as you know, they were a fair distance away from me at all times. But we have decided that we need to have certain people that we can socialize with. Otherwise, you know, those of us who live alone, Beth, we have nobody to talk to. Think about that. Jamie's saying, I went to a celebration of life for a brother in Christ from my church last Sunday, and there was nobody wearing masks. And they were so close together. I wore my mask, yes. And you understand, it's scary. Bernice is saying, yes, we can't go out because of the office people being infected. And we just got tested and we need to wait 3 to 4 business days. Yeah. So, yes, Beth, they're like, you know, they're my neighbors. There are about 17 of us that are in the immediate area of my community. And we decided this is our pod. We're all older, so we all are being pretty darn careful. We don't socialize. We're not going to big functions or doing anything else like that. But we need to be able to be there for each other. They call it quarantine buddies. Okay, so I call it my pod. My pod includes Doug, but Doug, I don't even hug Doug, quite honestly. Doug and I stay socially distant, and the reason for that is he's got a child in his family, right? So, you know, to me, this is like, we're super careful. And Yvonne is in my pod, all right? And if you guys were there, you'd be in my pod too, right? So Jamie's saying, and there was one person in front of me and behind that they were coughing. When I got home, I hopped into the shower right away. Good thinking. Beth, how do we sanitize internally? I saw the comment. Not sure how we do that. I believe that a bit of, what do you call it? Not disinfectant, what's it called? The stuff that you literally, sanitizer, that's it. That you just, with a cotton swab, just sanitize the inside of your nose. Beth's going, vodka. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Yeah, the Sturgis people would be sanitized inside. Got it. And Beth's saying, I have 3 people in my apartment complex that have the virus now. Wow, that's too close to home now, even though I've already had it. I don't want to get it again. Yeah, amazing. So I just want to say, in terms of coping, we're going to need to help each other a lot more. I will be doing a little bit of a video about the fact that I actually got lonely this week for the first time since the week I moved in. You remember, I did get lonely that first week I was here with no furniture and just this futon. Okay, Sharon, good to see you. Stay safe, honey. But this past week, I did get lonely. A number of things triggered it, and that's what I'm going to be talking a bit about. But what I want you to know is be aware and deal with it. Yes, Jamie's saying that people who still think that the COVID is a hoax. I know. I know. I am well aware of that unfortunate reality. I also There are so many things going on at the same time, and you've got the election coming up. And so, really, well, I guess we have too. So anyway, let's carry on with what we've got here. I wanted to say that if you missed today's broadcast, we did one on stuffed burgers. And for those of you who did watch it, I made one very big one, and in fact, two big ones, and then some little ones that are like protein bites. But I just want to tell you that that one burger I cut into 4 pieces and have them already meal prepped for 4 different meals. Just so that you understand. In fact, I lie. I think I cut it into, anyway, the bits that I had, I produced 6 meals out of what we cooked at lunchtime. And so we were just set, plus I've still got another gigantic one in the freezer. You remember I put the first one away in the freezer. So what we're going to be doing on Friday evenings is talking a lot more about how to make things go a long way and how to juggle those sort of things better. And Jody's saying they looked so appetizing. I'm looking forward to making them. Well, I want to tell you something. They were, considering I didn't even barbecue them, I just did them on the crepe machine. They were really very tasty. I have to say that. So, but the thing is this, what you've got is the vegetables, if you want it, inside. If you notice, I did a lot of things to make them tastier. I did add bacon because, what doesn't taste better with some bacon in it? But I did add bacon. And so to me, think about how could we have made that stretch even further? Hang on. Yes, she did. Sandy did, I think. Anyway, so think about how you could have made that stretch even further. How many of you can see that if you had grated carrot in there, finely grated carrot, that would have added the bulk up a bit? What else could we have added to the base mixture to make it go even further? Beth, I bought a puppy. Well done, Beth. She'll be ready in 5 weeks. I'm so happy. Another silky terrier, but this time it's a girl. In honor of Peanut, passing, her name will be Butter. Oh, in honor of Peanut passing, her name will be Buttercup, just like Peanut Buttercup. Ah, you're the second person that I heard has done that. Congratulations, Beth. My friend Patty also got herself a little huggable thing. As the guy that was helping with the QB, the guy with the white hair, he calls them rat on a rope. Beth, I know what a big step it is because I have never replaced Bean Bean. And Bean Bean's been gone a long time. So I totally understand. And there's part of me that goes, I probably need one just to keep me entertained. I'm looking forward to you sending us pics so I can put them up for people. Sandy was telling us at lunchtime, Isabel, that she made eggs and omelets on it for the family. So she's an expert at it now. And the burgers cooked really well on it, don't you think? Sandy, I thought the burgers cooked really well on them. I was quite surprised. Yeah, Beth, your puppy will be spoiled rotten, and we would definitely like to see pictures, please, if you wouldn't mind sharing. And just give me permission to share it on Facebook, if you wouldn't mind. For those of you who don't know and maybe listening to this or watching it on the replay, DearMamaSal is all about us helping each other cope. with life as it goes on. And I cannot think of a time when we need each other more than right now. Okay, so Sandy's saying, I'd be worried about anything spilling over. You mean in terms of fat or something? Tell me what your worry is. Great that you're voicing it. Because when you let people know what your concern is, then people can help you get past that if it's possible. I also was worried about that. The sides are so low. So what I do, I don't normally cook burgers on it. Quite honestly, I did it today because of the demonstration. And I do think it's a great thing to demonstrate things on. And so what I had, and you couldn't see it, Sandy, was I had paper towel ready in a bowl that I could just quickly mop up any excess fats if it looked like it was getting to that point. The other thing was, as you probably saw, the meat was high, low in fat for burger meat. And, I cooked all of that and it didn't get anywhere close to going over the sides. So, but, that's what I do, is just have paper towel in a bowl that I can quickly just take and mop up a little bit if I needed to and put it back in the bowl. Make sense? If you have a subject, by the way, that you would like me to talk about, please let me know at DearMamaSal@gmail.com. I keep a long list. And for those of you who are interested, I did hear one of our viewers ask me to if I would talk a bit about reusable panty liner type stuff. What if, it gets really difficult and you can't get your needs met in those ways? I am going to do that video. I'm actually going to do it live. So you can see I've done a lot of research over the past year into it. And I have done lots of testing into it, as you know. And I thought it would be really important for us to discuss it, because either you're going to need it for, sanitary reasons, or else, you're going to need it for panty liners and stuff. So to me, it's a very important topic for us to talk about. If stuff gets really difficult, it might be difficult to do that. And what I want to make sure is that you're prepared, not scared. Jody's saying, also, could you probably put a silicone mat under the crate maker to catch any spills? Oh, okay, we're still on that. Yep, absolutely. Or maybe some, if you notice, I've got a really big cutting board. You could put it on a big cutting board, and mine's got a special lip in the cutting board to catch any spillover. But really, if you're doing so much that you think you're going to get that, you're probably better doing it a different way. That would be my suggestion. Right, Beth, and that's the sort of stuff that I think we should talk about. All right. Absolutely wonderful. And I wonder if you could send me some information and some experience. Yep. So that I can share that with the viewers. I'm pretty certain I'm going to have to put that particular video on without any monetization or anything, because it's not a topic that a lot of advertisers will want to be associated with. But quite honestly, I think it's one that we need to discuss. So if any of you have an experience around, that issue, please write to me and tell me what you recommend, what your experience is, what you've used, what you like, didn't like. And so I can actually give people not just my experience, but yours as well. Beth, please send me that information. I'd be most grateful to you. For those of you who might be new watching this on the replay, please hit the subscribe button here and also give it a thumbs up if you find the stuff interesting. And also hit on the bell. And it says, do you want all the notifications? And the answer to that would be yes. I've got some lights on this side, and I notice that every now and then I'm causing shadows and things. That does not work well for me. I'm going to put the lights in a different place. Hold on a second, everybody, because it keeps distracting me, and you know I don't like to be distracted. Yeah, I quite agree, Beth. Beth is saying that she thinks that any discussion about women's health should not be demonetized. Yeah, but you know, they're going to say that it's not a topic that all, you'll be amazed how many of my videos they actually will try not to monetize. It was so funny. That's not enough light, is it? I could hold it here. Beth, they even, for some reason, put a hold on the, what was it, Soul Sunday. And I went back to them and said, no, I want a manual review, please. Actually, I probably have, the big algorithm cuts me out quite regularly. And I just asked them to do a manual review of my stuff, because you and I know that, you know, I'm not abusing a whole lot of their rules. But thank you for the support on that, Beth. I think that could probably fall. Yeah, I know, Beth, but it happens. You know, it gets more and more difficult to actually. That was not a good idea, sir. Nor is that, no. Where do I normally have them, people? Okay, we can do this. Just got them in the wrong place, I think. Okay, we can do this. So the reality is that difficult subject, but one I'm going to address regardless of what the price is, if you know what I mean. Sandy's saying, I'm stocking up right now for my daughter. She hasn't started yet, but if it happens, I don't want to get caught short. I'm interested in reusable for her, but I'm getting a lot of disposables as well. Yes, think about all those sort of needs. One of the things that I'm going to be talking about is, you know, this week I was saying what I've added to my survival kit, if you like, my earthquake, stroke, who knows what's going to happen kit, is disposable clicker lighters. You know what I mean? The ones that you light the barbecue with and things. I've ordered up a set of 3 of those with rechargeable butane, but also I've ordered up one of those campfire type lighters with some extra flints. You never know. You know, this is like, we have no idea where this is going. Yeah. Oh gosh, that's terrible, Beth. So what I might do, I don't know. We could end up with a complaint against the video. So I'm wondering whether we should rather do it as a private group discussion that is by invitation only. What do you think? Then we can talk about whatever we want without any fear. Let me know what you think. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Might even do it on another Google Meet type group. we seem to do quite well with Google Meet, right? And they are promoting it a lot now, so presumably it's they've got it working pretty well. Yeah, I think because we don't want to, you don't want to get by YouTube. All right, anybody make a mistake of the week, just as a matter of interest? Oh, interesting. Sandy's saying there are lots of videos on the topic that have ads on them. Yes, well, we can try it. I just, would hate to get nuked. But I think it's essential, especially for us, right? We've all got different needs in that area. Some of us, are going to have more needs than others in the coming months. And so therefore, it's something I decided may not be a fun topic, but boy, I think it's an important one. So thanks for the support on that, everybody. All right, so Jody, with all that's been going on in her life, we again give her a big round of applause because she's still put together a whole lot of fun quotes for us. And so we are most grateful for that. I just got to find them here. Hang on one second. Just bear with me a second. So I think that the more honest we can be in the coming months, the better we're going to cope. That is my honest opinion. So if you start finding that you're overwhelming, remember it's happened to me. Excuse me. And I really do believe that I'm going to go back and revisit some subjects that we covered last year. And I think it's really important for us to discuss this sort of stuff. Bill Gates said, I choose a lazy person to do the hard work because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it. How about that? How many of you agree? I tell stories about one young person that I trained many years ago, and he came back to me probably 5-10 years later, and I knew him off and on for probably 5 years, and he many years later came back and visited me, and he said, Sal, you are the only person that ever trusted me to get things done. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, why don't people trust you? And he said, because I procrastinate. And I said, well, so do I. That doesn't mean you didn't do it. Quite honestly, the reason I trusted you to the extent that I did is I was pretty sure that you were a lot like me. And, and that I didn't care how much you procrastinated. My only criteria is, did you do what you said you were going to do? If I said to you, I need X, Y, and Z by Friday at 4:00, at 4:00 on Friday, was it done? You see, to me, that is the important thing. And quite honestly, I didn't care if you were up all night to achieve it. What I cared about was, is it done? Is he consistently keeping his commitment? And the answer was yes. So why would I not trust you? You see, I don't think it's about doing it the right way. I think it's about, can you do it? And so to me, that is much more important. What about you guys? Are you really caught up into the right way of doing things? Do you ask somebody to help you and then tell them how to do it? No. Right? That is not good management. That is not even good human nature. The guy's moving the QB. At one point, I couldn't keep my mouth shut. Yeah, I couldn't close my mouth fast enough. And I went to give them a bit of help. And they said, and And the funny thing was, I totally got that message, which is, we're doing it, get out of the way. Okay. And I really did let them do it. I just want to tell, that's Cisco. For those of you who know Cisco, I just want to tell him I'm broadcasting, because otherwise he's going to phone me, which he did. Okay. All right. So Jody's saying that the overwhelm has been creeping in for her too. Yep. And that's what I'm thinking. Lauren's saying, I have a confession to make. I didn't catch up on university this week, but you know why? All right. And so that's why I want us to go back and revisit some of the emotional stuff, because I think we're going to need it more and more. Groucho Marx said, no man goes before his time unless the boss leaves early. I like that. Hang on a second. And this one from Leslie Nielsen. By the way, what is your favorite Leslie Nielsen quote? He said here, doing nothing is very hard to do because you never know when you're finished. I don't know about the rest of you, but my favorite line in anything I ever watched him do was still from Airport. When the guy says to him, surely we did it a day, he's saying, don't call me Shirley. I don't know why. That, if ever I think of him, that's what I think about. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow said, it takes less time to do a thing right than it does to explain why you did it wrong. Good point, right? Now, for those of you who remember the mafia boss, John Gotti, he said, if you think your boss is stupid, remember, you wouldn't have a job if he was any smarter. Nice. I didn't know he had a sense of humor. Yeah, Jody's saying, yeah, don't call me Shirley is also one of her favorite lines. And you can't help but think about the guy, the script writer on that movie. When he wrote that into the script, I wonder if he knew it would become an iconic line. All right. Like the guy, like the guy in Dirty, that wrote, was it Dirty Harry, where he goes, yeah, make my day. Or, the guy who wrote, I'll be back. When you think about it, it's they wrote just such a small line. And these lines have become part of our everyday conversation. Anybody got any more that you want to add from movies that, I'm certain there must be so many that we have. Yeah, I would recommend, if you can, rewatching some of the Airplane movies, because they are priceless. And I'm pretty certain that you will find all sorts of lines in there that you totally missed. Quite honestly, half the time you were laughing so much you missed the next line. What's another one like that? Blazing Saddles, I seem to remember. Anything with Mel Brooks, Mel Brooks. Did Mel Brooks do Airplane? Interesting. Now that I think about it, it's possible. But anything that's Mel Brooks, the problem with his movies is that that you can't afford to laugh because you're going to miss the next line if you do. Yeah, he was also great. You're quite right, Jody. He was also so great in Naked Gun as well. Yeah. Peter Drucker, who is the management guy, said, most of us call management consists of making it difficult for people to get their work done. How many of you agree that you would have been far more effective if your boss had just kept his nose, or her nose, out of the way, and let you do the job? All right, Sandy's saying, I love corny, funny movies, especially in tough times. I don't need more drama. I quite agree. And so let's keep talking about the fun stuff in terms of movies that we recommend that we re-see. And Jody, if you can give me a follow-up note, I will start a thread on that on Facebook. See what everybody's favorite movies are. Dwight Eisenhower, former president, said, "It is better to have one person working with you than three people working for you." Very good management advice, by the way. And Albert Hubbard, that's the Scientology guy, isn't it? He said, people who never do any more than they get paid for never get paid for any more than they do. All right? So the best way, Oscar Wilde said, the best way to appreciate your job is to imagine yourself without one. I can remember somebody talking about that. I was having a bad work day one day, and they said, it'd be a really good idea to turn that thinking around and be grateful for the job you've got. And, it was really, so if you hear anybody complain about their job at the moment, really good idea to just let them say, hey, be grateful you're getting money. I'm busy realizing that I've got, friends in different sorts of businesses, and what they really, I'm very grateful for is they're in what I call pretty safe jobs, safe in terms of they're probably going to be able to keep their job regardless of what happens. Now, my question to you all is, how many of you would let somebody else move into your space if they were struggling through this pandemic? And one of the ways that everybody can save a lot of money is if they think about, maybe you need to take a boarder in, and rent out the spare room or whatever, because people are going to be really desperate. And the only way that some people will be able to afford not to be homeless is to, be able to do something like that. William Faulkner said, it's a shame that the only thing a man can do for 8 hours a day is work. He can't eat for 8 hours a day. He can't drink for 8 hours a day. Well, they can in Sturgis. And then some, right? He can't make love for 8 hours a day. The only thing a man can do for 8 hours is work. And I go, I don't know anybody that worked for a straight 8 hours. I mean, otherwise, what would we do with the water cooler, or the coffee pot, right? Anyway, so Edgar Bergen said, hard work never killed anybody, but why take that chance? Nice one, Jody. Good job. All right, now this one is a good idea. Interesting. Beth is saying, hey, Sal, now that my nails are growing out, how can I make them stronger so they won't break as easily? The masks are curving my appetite for chewing on my nails, but they are weak and not getting long. Okay, so Beth, hang on, I need a pointy thing. All right, Beth, this is what I want to tell you. If your nails are only this long, they will be weak, right? So if ever I break a nail, as I did that one, all right, I am aware that that's when it's at its weakest. So I really have to tell you, I'm not paid by them to promote them. It's just my fact. The best nail polish you can put on your nails if they are short and you want them to be strong is Sally Hansen Diamond. Like diamonds are a girl's best friend. And it's clear, and put on 2 coats a week and you'll be amazed how strong your nails are. If that's not doing it for you, put on 3 coats. It really is diamond strength. You know what I mean? And the other thing is, what I found was that the longer my nails grow, the stronger they are. So if you could feel these now, Beth, you know, they're just, you know how when you get out of the shower, your nails are a bit wobbly. Well, you know, mine are like steel. And so, but I do, to be fair, I do, you know, eat a lot of cheese. I do drink milk. I actually cut down my milk by about half now, thanks to finding an almond milk that I really like. Tom Goyne said, as I have gotten older and wiser, excuse me, I've discovered that there are 6 things that I really love about my job. Payday, lunchtime, quitting time, vacation time, holidays, and of course, retirement. You know, I know that you're going to be really surprised to hear that, but part of my meltdown this week, the past week, was that I really was not able to do enough. You know, I was getting so frustrated. And as I said at lunchtime, the interesting thing about frustration or anger is that it's a self-inflicted wound. You know, getting frustrated about the fact I was overwhelmed was not going to fix being overwhelmed. We had quite a discussion about that at lunchtime. You know, getting angry at myself because I couldn't do as much was not helping at all. The only thing that was going to help me was to focus and to do what Lauren just demonstrated, which is if you're in overwhelm, you got to drop something off that list. You know, you got to really drop things off that and then focus on the things that you do want to do. Jerome said, I like work. It fascinates me. I can sit and look at it for hours. Beth would not be saying that. Beth said, used to be my smoke break that what I look forward to at work because I could take off my mask and get away from everyone. Now I walk around the building instead of smoking. Yes, good for you, Beth. That is awesome. And I would recommend as well, Beth, because you got that Energizer Bunny thing about you, maybe get some sort of meditative music or whatever that you can walk to so that you actually walk at a nice, regular, slow pace, you know, and just relax. Because for you, I think relaxation is your biggest challenge. I'm doing a new thing at the moment, Beth, just so that you know. I am literally going 1 hour on my feet, 1 hour off. I'm trying to heal my Achilles tendons. And I can do 1 hour of go, 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 go. And then I have to stop and put my feet up. You know, and I can edit and do stuff like that with my feet up, but I just not standing on my feet anymore for another hour. And then I can go out for another hour. You understand? So, oh, you listen to religious music while you walk. That is a great idea. Yeah. Do you listen to the chants or hymns or what do you listen to? Sarah Brown said the only thing that ever sat its way to success was a chicken. I like that. Beth is saying, oh, she listens to modern Christian music. There you go. Good for you. And I would recommend for those of you who have faith, it would be a really good time for you to start downloading that sort of stuff. Because and really make sure you listen to it. Good idea, Beth. I would say, for some of you, it's the Gregorian chants. You probably love those. For some of you, it would be the classical hymns, or maybe even the Christmas carols. I'm sure Beth is already putting Christmas stuff up in her shop. My keyboard must be broken. I keep hitting the escape key, but I'm still at work. Oh, you laughed at that one, Jody. I know that. You knew I would like that, yeah. Why am I still here? Yeah, Beth is saying that she's not very religious, but somehow listening to the modern Christian music, she finds soothing. If it does it for you, whatever floats your boat, Beth, that is the whole thing. Did any of you see the incredible picture that Kerry put up? She had a beam fall on her head, and I really forgot to wish her well at lunchtime. But she literally has 7 or 8 stitches in her skull, where this beam hit her. Beth is saying somehow it feels like someone is with me, no matter where I am. That is what faith is all about. Yes, you're not alone. Robert Orban said, I love this. Every day I get up and I look through the Forbes list of the richest people in America. And if I'm not there, I go to work. The funny thing is, the richest people in America are the ones doing all the work, right? Now, this one I totally agree with. It's been said in lots of different ways, but the same result. Mary Kay Ash, who is the Mary Kay of Mary Kay, said, delegate your work. Stop spending dollar dime doing penny jobs. One of the things I remember saying to Benji and Sean very early on when they started Video Influencers is, I can remember reading a great book called The E-Myth, like the myths, M-Y-T-H. And one of the things it said, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, work on the business, not in it. And so, I love that book for lots of reasons, but I can remember driving or being a passenger. Sean was driving me somewhere in LA once, and we had quite a conversation. And I remember saying to him, Sean, you're going to make an awful lot of money when you start building the team to do the work for you so that you can clear your mind and be the visionary that you are. And, I look at him now and I go, yep, I think somewhere or another he managed to do that. And, that is important to, if you possibly can, delegate the work. The interesting thing will be now is how many people will need to become entrepreneurs to survive. So let me ask you something. If you had to become an entrepreneur to survive, what do you think you could make money at? What would you do that would make you money? Allowing for the fact that the world is about to totally change. Jamie, if you're still with us, what would you consider doing as a backup? And I mentioned Jamie because she's in what I call a luxury business. right? She's in the spa business, which I think is a luxury business, but also can be seen as an essential business for us because that is forced relaxation. And, a lot of people who've got money will still go to spas just so that they can relax. So, but I'm thinking the sort of people that do that will probably have enough money still to be able to afford to have her come to them, which they probably would prefer. So I'd like you all to think about that. Maybe we start, seriously thinking about it for us all. And this is true of many of us. Getting paid to sleep. That would be my dream job. Well, actually, I'd have to say not for Jody at the moment or for myself, because we're not sleeping well enough, at the moment. But Jody, we will know when we're back under control, when we're back to 7 hours sleep, right? That's what I am going. I know that the reason I'm not sleeping well is because I'm overwhelmed. How many of you relate to this one? I thought this was cute. The closest to perfection that a person ever comes to is when they fill out the job application form. How many of you have noticed when you fill out a job application, you really are a superstar? Jody's saying that she and I would starve if we got paid by our hours of sleep. But Jody, I'm not prepared to accept that because we were doing so well. And therefore, we have changed what we were doing. It's because you and I both were doing a consistent 7 hours, average, no problem at all. In fact, I was close to 8 a month ago. And I can prove it. So something went wrong. All right, so listen to this. This came from Einstein. Einstein said, if A equals success, then the formula is A equals X plus Y plus Z, where X is work, plus Y is play, and Z or Z is keep your mouth shut. Oh, that would be difficult for me. Very difficult. Sandy's saying, me neither. I was up until 5 a.m. Got a licking from my sister in South Africa when she realized I was still up. Isn't it nice that you've got somebody that cares about you enough to give you a licking? That's what I would say. By the way, Sandy, send her top scenes from me. And I'd be very interested to hear how she's doing and how they are doing over there. Homer Simpson said to his son, son, if you really want something in this life, you have to work for it. Now, quiet. They're about to announce the lottery numbers. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I still think that the lottery is investment for people who can't do math. I am amazed how much money people throw at the lottery. And the funny thing is, the lower the odds, or the higher the higher the odds, the more they spend. If you've got a 1 in 50 chance, they'll spend so much. But if suddenly it becomes a 1, there's so many people that, like they've got $6 million on the line, then suddenly all these more million people suddenly play the lottery. And, it's like the odds of winning just went down like this. But people will spend so much. Because, I could win 60 million. Yeah. And you could lose a lot too. So, yeah, the lottery is investment for people who can't do math, as far as I'm concerned. But if it gives you pleasure, good entertainment. Oh, interesting. Beth said, I won't buy a lottery ticket, but I would go to bingo. Why, Beth? That's interesting. Why do you think you get better bang for your buck at bingo, or does it require some skill? Or, what is your reason for bingo is okay? Yeah, Jody's saying that the advertising slogan for the lottery was all it takes is $1 and a dream. Yeah. and the inability to do math. Ken Hubbard said, "There's no secret about success. Do you ever know a successful man who didn't tell you all about it?" you know, I want to tell you something that there is no secret, right? It's how hard do you want to work? Best thing, I used to play bingo all the time. I'm very, very lucky. It's a thrill. Yeah. Do you know, Beth, I relate to that. I very rarely go into a casino, but I am also very lucky at a casino. Um, and I can remember once one casino sent the bosses down. Oh, they sent people down to watch me play because they weren't quite sure about me. and it was so funny because I played all weekend with $20, you know. And then just as I was about to go, I lost the 20. I lost everything that I had plus the $20. And I literally was down to my last, whatever it was. Uh, and you know me, I just put the whatever it was into the one arm bandit because I knew that I came and I was willing to lose $20. So I put it in the machine and I pulled the handle. And you know what happened? It coughed out enough money to pay for the whole weekend. Just like, oh, okay, thank you. Okay, so Beth's saying, I used to help out at the healing place bingo. I would sell pull tabs and check people's bingos. Oh, I didn't know that Pat was a bingo lover too. Thanks, Jody. Yeah, I think, I used to do it for when I was part of Rotary. We used to fundraise with the bingo people. So that's why I used to go. And, it was quite funny because in those days I was a smoker and I would happily go and work the room where all the smokers were. In those days, there was that, I don't know, do they still have a smoking room at bingo? Or is that now totally no? I guess they're not playing bingo at the moment. Oh, interesting. Beth's going, that the healing place is a place for recovering addicts. Isn't that wonderful? Good job. That's good that, that you do that. David Letterman said, there's no place like show business. There's no business like show business. But there's several businesses like accounting. Oh, okay. So, all right. So now we've gone far enough along so that we don't have any more smoking rooms. Yeah. I can remember when we had smoking and then we had smoking rooms and non-smoking rooms. And now I think we're pretty much into non-smokers now. Ah, interesting. So you did a giveaway there, Sandy. The reason her sister knew she was still up was because she got her hooked on Scrabble Go, and she played her turn, and that's how she knew she was still awake. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Jody's saying yes. I think they still have a smoking room, but during COVID, there's no smoking allowed. Oh, interesting. She's saying that she saw a Facebook ad for her local hall. Well, thanks for that update. So, anybody else know about that? So, if you want to know how to beat the 5 o'clock rush out of work, leave at lunchtime. um, I like that. Time is an illusion, and lunchtime doubly so. I used to find it really funny. When I was a smoker, I don't know if any of you can remember these days, but when I was a smoker, I used to go out and have a cigarette when everybody else went for their coffee break. And people used to complain about it. And I said, hang on a second, you all went and had a coffee break. Why can't I go and have a smoke break? Or, they'd all have a lunch break and I'd go and have a smoke break. And it was really interesting how that upset people. And I went, how I choose to spend that time is my business, not anybody else's. The fact that I can grab a coffee very quickly and rush down and have it with a cigarette is my skill, or it was anyway. How long ago is that now? Must be coming up 8 years now. Wow. Oh, I missed that. Okay, Sandy's saying that she did post a bit about what's happening in South Africa. Hold on. Very stressed as the cases are rising. Her hubby is working in the sports industry and could be at risk, yes. The borders are closed, so they can't leave. Wow, that's interesting because my brother is there, as you know, and he is thinking of leaving. So it'd be interesting to see. That is very interesting. Thank you. How about this one? Robert Frost said, the brain is a wonderful organ. It starts working the moment you get up in the morning and doesn't stop until you get into the office. Now, the problem Jody and I have is, and I think Lauren as well, with all the stress she's been going through, right? We can't turn it off at the moment, right? I don't know if you can believe this, but I've got so many lists going on that I had to stop and go, I've got to find a better way. For some reason, when I get overwhelmed, it triggers my creativity. And so what will happen is I'm trying to focus and do less, but my mind is giving me all these great ideas. And I'm seeing all sorts of things that need to be done. Does anybody else have that problem? It's like, it doesn't happen as much when I'm under control. But when I'm in overwhelm, I am constantly writing notes to myself all over the place. And, there's no way I can do a quarter of the things that I'm writing down, but I don't want to lose them either. Sometimes I spent a whole meeting wondering how they got the big meeting table through the door. Have any of you ever sat in a meeting and pretended that you were thinking, but really what you were doing was counting the ceiling tiles? Yeah, I've done that. Joey Adams said, people are willing to do an honest day's work. The problem is they want a week's pay for it. You see, again, I really do believe this. I believe the reason that I was successful at work so often was because I really did get results. And that's quite honestly a very interesting thing. Right, Jody's saying, I relate to that too. It's like a mini manic episode at times. I'll never accomplish the stuff I write on my list in 5 lifetimes. Yes. Hi, Bernice. Bernice is saying she's quiet because she's busy listening to us as she's washing her fruits. Good for you, Bernice. What do you wash them with? I throw mine in vinegar water. Hi, Nada. Good to see you twice in one day. We are honored. So great to see you. Yeah, how does everybody else wash their fruit and vegetables when they come in the house now? I have one bowl into which I throw my fruit, and I'll let it soak for 15 minutes while I do something, and then I will strain it, and then put it somewhere to dry, and then I throw the next lot of fruit in, and then I strain it and put it somewhere to dry, and so forth. All right, so vinegar, water, and rinse really well with my strainer. I don't even bother to rinse mine. Nada, I'm having yellow watermelon. So, because I find any of the vinegar taste just evaporates away. So I actually don't rinse them. Maybe it's a bad thing. The reward for good work is more work. I know, Nada, that's why I had to show you. I'd never seen it either, but it really is watermelon. You can probably see it dripping. Is it a Canada thing? I want to tell you, it gave me the biggest shock, Nada. When I cut open the watermelon and it was yellow, I'm going, is it done? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it tastes yellow. Hang on a second. It's not one, no. Sorry, Mom. Okay, so here we go. Muhammad Ali. I love this one, Jody. Muhammad Ali said, it's just a job. Grass grows, birds fly, waves pound the sand. I beat up people. Oh, Sandy's saying, is everybody aware of the onion recall? This is in Canada. Or is it across all of North America? All right, let's get some more information typed up, please. No, I had not heard about it. Mind you, I've been a bit busy today. Earl Nightingale said, executive ability is deciding quickly and getting somebody else to do the work. That's actually what an executive does, right? Okay, Sandy said yes, but it's the onions from the States. So what is it, a salmonella thing, or what is the story? That's why I grow my own onion stuff to a large extent. It is salmonella. Okay, so again, is it any particular, is it all onions, or is it the yellow ones or the red ones, or, you know, do we know? Here we go. Yes, started with red, but now they've recalled the yellow as well. Okay, so what are they saying? If you bought onions within the last, what, week, 2 weeks? Yeah, there's sweet onions are the red ones, right? There's a brand. I have no idea because I buy my onions one at a time. I have no idea what the brand is. So better just to throw the onion away. I haven't cut into it, the one I got last week. Jody, Yeah, that's what I do as well, Benny's. I actually keep one onion on my countertop, and then when I cut into it, I cut it completely and I freeze half of it. Or in fact, I use what I want to use and I freeze the rest. So I haven't cut into last week's onion. No, there are different sweet onions. It's in between white and yellowish. Really? Okay. I obviously don't know that. We're not sure who said this, but pride, commitment, and teamwork are words they use to get you to work for free. So, all right. So Sandy's saying the Canadian Food Inspection Agency says Thompson International Inc. of Bakersfield, California, is expanding its recall of red, yellow, and white sweet yellow varieties. But do they give a time thing on it, Sandy? That's because normally they say if you bought your onions within the last week or 2 weeks or month, you know what I mean? They normally give a time span. Thank you for letting me know, and therefore letting everybody know. I've got a feeling I'll be throwing that onion out. Rather safe than sorry. Yeah, I have no idea what brand mine is either, Bernice, because I have one delivered and I have no idea what the brand is. Yes, Jody, you got me on this one. The recall started August 1st and it's now the 7th. Okay, so I'm getting rid of my onion. All right, this one, Jody, I love it. It says, my boss told me to start every presentation with a joke. So my first slide was a picture of my paycheck. Yeah. Nice one, Jody. All right, a lot of fellows nowadays have BAs and MDs or PhDs. Unfortunately, they don't have JOBs. Yeah, isn't that true? Fats Domino said that. I actually did it once where I was speaking at a very big, I think it was the International Board of Directors or something, where literally directors of major companies from up throughout the world came. And I was a serious speaker in there, people, about management and people skills and goodness knows what else. And it was so funny because everybody that was on the list, did any of you hear the story about what happened? But, it was so funny because I arranged this with the organizers beforehand, but I literally pitched up when they introduced me. I had a whole bunch of letters under my name that just were gobbledygook, just to see if anybody queried it. Nobody did. I just put an alphabet assortment at the end of my name, and nobody queried a thing. Nobody said, what is that? And then, this is the joke. I want you to visualize this big ballroom. And when they announced me and did all the introduction and stuff, and that was great. And I came through the double doors at the given time, but I was dressed in a pair of jogging pants. They were bright pink, and a pink and green striped sweater. And I had a motorcycle helmet under my arm. And I came clump, 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 clump. Oh, and I had, runners on. It came clump, 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 clump down the center aisle and got up on the stage. Now, I want to tell you, the vibe in that ballroom just went. And I just, got to the mic and went, hi, guys, and just, you could just see all the judgments going on. I mean, you could almost hear it. It was so loud in judgment. And I had arranged for them to throw me off stage for not being suitably dressed and not respectful of the crowd and so forth. And, I gave them all the things that they needed to throw me off the stage for. And I left. And they gave the round of applause for the fact that they pulled me off stage. Now, you know me, I got a wicked sense of humor. So I then went to the ladies' washroom where I had a whole different set of clothes. I had an incredibly immaculate blue shirt-waster type dress with white lapels and white cuffs. I think that Audrey Hepburn would have been proud of me. You know what I mean? That sort of elegance that she had. And in those days, we still had hats, and it was like a big picture hat that, if you'd seen it on My Fair Lady, you would have gone, wow, isn't that beautiful? And then, of course, I completely changed the way in which I walked. And I put on my 3-inch stilettos. And then I timed it so I wouldn't go back to the crowd until they had their tea break, right? And when they had their break in the session. And I literally walked in, and you understand, they've already seen me. I walked in and I got myself a coffee, or the coffee break, whatever. And I got myself a coffee, and I was having my coffee, and I, literally was saying, oh, I'm sorry I arrived late. How's it been? And, one person would say, oh, it's been great, da, da, da. And then, quite a few mentioned this horror that happened. I'm going, horror? What happened? Oh, this person that they invited came up totally incorrectly dressed for the audience and da, 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 da. And, and it wasn't one person that told me the story, like a lot of people told me the story over the coffee break. Well, guess who was the speaker after coffee? Me. And I walked up on stage, totally different body language. And I got to the mic and I said, hi, guys, want to listen to me now? I've got to admit, they gave me a standing ovation for it, because they realized I had sucked them in at the beginning and taught them the lesson that regardless of how I was dressed, my brain still had the information they were waiting for. And how many of you can imagine that when it got to the lunch break, I had an awful lot of people seeking me out to talk to me and telling me, can I shake your hand? You caught me 100%, and you were so right. You didn't even have to say the obvious, it was just like, and they said, how did you get them to throw you out? I said, it was all orchestrated. But I'm glad you got the point. Because, it's not about how we dress, is it? It's not about where we live, is it? It is about, I heard a really nice comment about people. And it's not about what people look like or sound like. It's what's in their heart. That's what you need to find out about people, because we make these judgments before we ever find out what's in their heart. When a man tells you that he got rich through hard work, ask him who did the hard work. Well, something, Isabel, I loved it too at the time. It was, I've still got the brochure. I told you I've got this box of, something, I will sort it out and find it for you, but I've still got the brochure where it has me as one of the top speakers of the day. And then that's when it happened. And I also have a cut crystal glass somewhere. I haven't unpacked them yet, but they gave me 2 cut crystal glasses, and I've kept them all my life to remind me of that particular speech. J. Paul Getty said, going to work for a large company is like getting on a train. You're going 60 miles an hour, or the train is going 60 miles an hour and you're just sitting still. Which is it? All right. I agree. It's just like I think that's what's been happening to me this week is my mind is going 60 miles an hour and my body is not following it. This is a cute one as well. Henny Youngman said, I've got all the money I need in my life as long as I die by 4 o'clock. That's so cute. But I don't want to die by 4 o'clock. Mark Twain said, all you need in this life is ignorance and confidence. Then success is sure. Do you know anybody like that? Stephen Alexander Wright said, when I was 16, I worked in a pet store and they fired me because I had 3 snakes. They had 3 snakes and one day I braided them. How many of you got that visual? Okay, so Jody's saying, Sal, you could write 10 books at least. I know there's already one in the Library of Congress, but you've got the greatest stories from your experience. Well, it's part of the reason that I do what I do is I do realize that I do have a wealth of experience. To me, there have been some really memorable moments. I've got to say that I really have had some incredible experiences in my life, and for which I'm very thankful. And what I've always said to people is the reason I believe that life is about memories, not things, is nobody can ever take the memories away from you, except Alzheimer. But by the time he gets there, you're happy. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know that you've lost the memory. But, to me, I think the same thing as some of you will know is that the love of music is one of the last things to go. And so, it's very, very important. I heard a lovely story that Benji was telling me about in the days when he could still visit certain people. And there was an older person, probably a little my age or a little bit older, who is struggling. And, Benji is very thoughtful in lots of ways. And what he did is because he knew that she would not necessarily recognize him or be able to interact with him all the time, he took a playlist of music that was popular when she was a young girl. And, he interacted for a while. And when she started to lose it, he just took out his phone and started to play the music. And he said it was amazing to see the difference in her. The moment he started to play that music, she knew all the words to the songs. She's had the rhythm. She knew, exactly what I'm pretty certain that for a lot of you, they could play the opening bars of many songs. And that's all you need, the first literally 10 notes of that song, and you know exactly what it is. And he said it was such a rewarding experience. And I said, I think that's wonderful. And he said, you taught me that. And I said, well, I'm so glad that you listened to it. And by the way, when he took me to Hawaii, you remember when he took me to Hawaii? Because it was on my bucket list and I didn't think I would necessarily ever get there. When we did the trip up island in the Ferrari, which we did, if you remember, I sat back, to enjoy the trip, and he dropped in a DVD, and guess what it was? The DVD was all music of my youth. All right. And I literally, unfortunately for him, sang my way up the Hawaiian highway, whatever that's called, In Canada, in BC, we call it Route 97, but, whatever that thing is, You know, I sang my way up there, you know. So many great songs. Even if you're on the right track, you will get run over if you just sit there. Isn't that true? Anyway, when he dropped the CD in, and I mean the DVD, not DVD, the CD in, and started to play the music, I looked at him and I smiled, and I said, "You are so kind, really." And it was so funny because when we got up island, he had asked me what things I would like to see in Hawaii. And, you know, it was really funny. I didn't really want to see Pearl Harbor because, you know, you can see it anytime online. But I did want to see certain other things. And when, you know, we drove all the way up island to do one thing. But as we were driving, he was telling me a story that I thought was really important. It took a while for that story to come out, and it was really important to him. I could tell that. And so when we got to the place where we were going to do the touristy thing, I said, how about we just go and grab an ice cream and just talk for a while instead of doing this? And, you know, that's what we did. And we not only talked about it while we were having the ice cream, but we talked about it all the way home, you know, all the way back to the hotel. And that's how big that subject was to him. And to me, that was far more memorable than whatever the touristy thing was. Does that make sense to anybody? I am saying now to any of my core group that come and visit me, thank you so much for the gift of your time. And what I'm reminding them is, and I continue it, I say, thank you so much for the gift of your time, because so few people realize that those of us who live alone are alone, right? We don't have anybody to discuss the day-to-day stuff with unless we get online. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't realize that that can be amazing to just have somebody to, you know, shoot the breeze with and rant with about whatever's happening in America. Zig Ziglar, big motivational speaker, said a lot of people quit looking for work as soon as they get a job. I know what they mean. A baseball game is twice as much fun if you're seeing it on company time. Well, Jody, you're saying that was very kind of me. I didn't see it as very kind or very loving. I saw it as very important to him. You know, and I'm not being noble here. It's the same thing as I know that stuff that Dougie must want to talk to me about because he asked if he could come visit and stay the night. Now that means we talk through the night. And, you know, he's done that a number of times in his life where he will come and visit and we will sit on the two couches and we will talk. And we will discuss a lot of things. So obviously he has a need to discuss a lot of things. And that is great. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. And you know, that's what I do. And I have found that that's when you get to the truth with people, right? It's when you can give them the space to talk about stuff. And I want to tell you something, if you could watch us, it is so energetic. You know what I mean? We never run out of topics. And even Benji called me this week. And, you know, I just, you know, asked him one question and I heard it and I did the active listening thing, which means I asked him a question about what it was that he just told me. And then I asked him another question about what he then told me. And the next thing I knew, an hour had gone by. And he said, but wait. And I said, what? And he said, I haven't even asked you how you are. And I go, no, but I found out a lot about how you are this time. Do you understand? It's like very important to me because he is so thoughtful of me in so many different ways. But I also know there are not many people that Benji talks to about certain stuff. And so whenever I get that opportunity and I can hear he's got more than a couple of lines to say, I will keep pushing till he runs out. It's like what you do is you ask him a leading question and he'll tell me and and then I go, yeah, right, and then he go, blah, 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 blah. Wow. And so then what happens? Yeah, really? Wow. So what did you do? It's just like if you have the right questions, it's amazing how heard they are. And by the way, it's not like I'm being something special. It's about I genuinely want to get that information because I realize that in some cases I might be the only person he tells that to. I wonder if that makes sense to anybody. Ronald Reagan said, the taxpayer, that's someone who works for the federal government but doesn't have to take the civil service exam. How many of you feel like you work for the government? Early to bed and early to rise probably indicates unskilled labor. Yeah, I definitely have found that retirement, the biggest wake up call for me about retirement is your body resets its clock to what its natural clock is. And mine is, wake up at 10 and go to bed about 2 and go to sleep about 3 to 4 o'clock. All right, so Jody's saying, yes, it makes perfect sense. You're giving him the gift of truly being heard. Yep. I think there are certain gifts that you cannot put a price on. Loyalty. I don't think you can put a price on loyalty. I don't think you can put a price on somebody who truly listens and listens beyond the words. I must say that I'm surprised how many people have said that for somebody who never stops talking, I listen really well. Now, work that one out. Because to me, part of my talking is to bring out, as you've seen, to bring out other things that people need to discuss. Alan Alda of MASH said, it's funny feeling to work with people who you consider your colleagues and realize they're actually young enough to be your children. Yeah. Somebody said, I'm not retiring, I'm graduating. Retirement means that you just go ahead and live on your laurels and surf all day in Oceanside. No, that's not going to happen. How many of you have noticed that I'm really, in a way, almost busier now that I've retired, and I seem to be busier doing nothing? That's the scary thing. Chris Rock said, I used to work at McDonald's making minimum wage. You know what that means? You know what your boss was trying to say? It's like, hey, if I could pay you less, I would, but it's against the law. Wow. So Bernice is saying, hubby came over at the sink and listened a bit and then said the lighting makes Mama Sal look creepy. I agree. But I did try and put it in the right place, but it wouldn't stay there. Yeah. See, it's a lot better if it's there, right? It's because I don't have the right setup here. This is like the Halloween thing. All right, so Jody said, I've sent you messages and you can decode my feelings without me even directly bringing them up. You're an excellent read between the lines person. You know more about me than me. Isn't that interesting, Jody? You know, I really, it's the same thing. As you will notice that I will ask you and Lauren, who I know much better than a lot of the viewers, but I will ask you very different sorts of questions. I will ask Lauren questions that are not the same as the ones I might ask you. And the reason is because I'm pretty aware of what Lauren's fears are, and I'm pretty aware of what your fears are. And therefore, if I see you, have a hiccup, what I'll do is I will ask a question to try and find out where the fear is on this one. Does that make sense, Lauren? If you notice, the first question I asked you was about, I know that this university thing has happened to you before. Was it for the same reason? And guess what? It was. All right. So my gut feel on that one was okay. But I wanted you to make sure that you could see it. That it's important, because I know you're not a quitter. I know that you don't give up on things. I know you're an incredibly hardworking person with very few excuses. I know people who are able-bodied who give way more excuses than you do. Yeah. And so to me, it was really important that you could see that this wasn't about quitting. This was about making room for your mom's issues. Bernice is saying about this creepy thing. Yes, but I just thought, well, she is still beautiful, and that's all you need. All you need is what you're saying, not the lighting. Yeah. And that's why I don't worry about. That's why I didn't worry about it. I gave up trying to get the lighting right, because I know you guys don't really care what I look like. What you want is the information and the chit chat. Zig Ziglar said, "Don't be distracted by criticism. Remember, the only taste of success some people get is to take a bite out of you." Jody, I keep thinking about what the family is going to put you through for not going to that celebration of life. By the way, perhaps you could pass a message on to Lionel for me. That I don't know if he knows this, but I didn't go to my mother's funeral. Now, I'm certain a lot of the viewers will be going, what? But I knew that my mother was struggling for the last 4 years of her life. And during that time, I twice took 6 weeks out of my year to travel to Africa and be with her for 6 weeks and then come home, without earning income, without all the rest of it. Because what I said to her was, Mom, I'm going to be with you now. I will not be with you after you're gone. And so I want you to know that that's what I'm doing. And I know people will judge me because I'm not going to spend the money again to come back for a funeral. I would rather spend it now when I can be with you and talk to you and enjoy you. And that is the memory that I choose to have. So to me, that is more important. And Lionel, if you do get to listen to this, you see, it wasn't about what members of my family judged that. I didn't really care. This was about, I did everything I could to be there for my mom in a way that I could. And literally, I think it was 3 times in 5 years that I did that trip, all the way back to Africa, and literally stayed 6 weeks at a time every summer. Some members of my family will never forgive me for not being there, and they judge me harshly. It's like, okay, I'm okay with that. Yeah. So, I'm thinking about this, Bernice. You might need this You know, what happens if your daddy passes, right? I know he's not well. And I know he's struggling both with stage 4 and with COVID. How is he doing, by the way? Yeah, okay, so this is what Benny said. Jody, don't feel bad, because if anything ever happened to my dad, I won't be able to go home. Mum told me if anything does happen, they won't hold it against me because it's money, time, and health risk. Absolutely. So you see, that this is where your emotional intelligence and your emotional strength works for you. It is their problem. Yeah. And you know, Jody knows that, Bernice, but I think it's wonderful that you give her that support. And as we will when you need to make that choice as well, Bernice. You see, you're already prepared for that. All right. It doesn't mean you won't be devastated. It doesn't mean that you won't feel some guilt. You know, you're a human being, but the truth is you've already had that discussion. You are prepared not to go. You're not going to be resentful and angry that you can't go. It's like, I know what the truth is. The truth is I can't go, and I need to deal with it. And the family needs to deal with it. So I am very proud of you, Bernice, that you've already had that conversation and that you've dealt with the family around that. And anybody who wants to judge it, that's their problem. All right, so Bernice is saying that the doctor said Papa is doing better, but he's in dialysis and needs to continue that. But he is more responsive now. Well, boy, isn't that wonderful? I am, you know, I'm really happy to hear that. And please continue to keep us updated. I don't want to keep asking you, Bernice, because I don't want to trigger something in you, but I would really appreciate it if you kept us informed if you can. All right. Yeah. And Bernice is saying, Mama Sal, I understand that. I will let the feelings go through and get back up when the time comes. You bet. Always remember, everything has to go through that emotional filter before you can get to reality. It's how much time do you spend there? And, you know, your recovery is important. You know, get through a bit of emotion, deal with reality for a while. If you need to go back into emotion, that's okay. It's a process, all right? And that is what that whole cycle of loss is about, is getting in and out of the emotions. And getting control of overwhelm is the same thing. Ask Lauren, ask Sal, ask Jody. For some reason, all three of us, and Lionel too, apparently. Lionel even asked whether, you know, Mercury was in retrograde, because it does feel like it, doesn't it? I think this is a great quote as well. It says, I hate it when I lose things at work, like pens, papers, sanity, and dreams. I always remember my friend Laurie. She was fairly new at one job, and she did have access to the intercom system in the office. And you know, she one day she just hit the intercom button and said, "Please call the police. There's been a theft." And people came running to her office and said, "What's wrong? What's happened? What's missing?" She said, "My pen. Somebody stole my pen." Um, you know, and it's just like they're going, "What? Is that all?" And she said, "No, it is not all. It is everything. Somebody stole my pen. I'd like it back, please." And she got it back. And they never stole her pen again. Talk about setting a boundary. How many of you are going, wow? All right. So Bernice is saying thank you. If this is about her daddy, she will keep us informed. Sorry, I don't ask the doctor either because I know they are busy. Yes. So I get updates when they can. Yep. I totally understand that. And Bernice is saying I already, get the stages of grief. I already went through it with him multiple times since the diagnosis of cancer and then COVID. And when the time comes, whenever it is, good girl, I'm so proud of you. And thanks to you all, I'm doing good. No, you're probably not doing good, but you're doing the best you can, honey. I think it's really important that you understand that you are handling this really well. All right? Yep, it's the principle of it, not the object. I am so proud of you, Bernice, because when I think of where you were when I first met you emotionally, and all that you've been through with the change of countries and all that other stuff that went on for you. And, I am just very proud of what you've managed, quite honestly. And I know that I probably don't say that enough. But, I watch your progress with a great deal of love. And every time I do my next, unpacking whatever, I think of you and how you have never failed to send me the before and after pictures. And I thought, I'm about to do a cleanup project and I'm going to send you the before picture so you can know you're not alone. You're not alone, honey. And, when I eventually get it sorted out, I will send you the after picture. I was trying to explain to somebody what it's like to put that huge, cube unit into my my art craft room when it was already full. It was just like, but I knew I could not let that go to be able to get that for free. Actually, Jody, am I allowed to tell people what you managed to score this week? By the way, I think there's going to be more of this. Right. So Bernice is saying, no, I'm surprisingly enough feeling good because I have the faith and I entrust it to God. Yeah, absolutely. You're doing a great job. Jody has managed to score a beautiful buffet. What else? An end table, a sleigh bed, and all sorts of things that somebody was trying to get rid of. And she got it all for free. Isn't that amazing? And I think you're going to see a lot of stuff like that. Excellent. So Bernice is saying, I need to send you my berry farm, my washing fruit station. Good. Send me a picture of that. I love to see it. Oh, and she got the tall dresser, the high boy, right? And bureau. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. Yes. So Bernice, I will send you the before picture. I just literally standing in my craft room looking out onto the deck is a nightmare. So I'm going to send you that picture. And then this week, that's what I'm working on. It's my do it day stuff. And I will send you another picture when it's better. May not be perfect, but better. So all of you, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here for one another. Very important that you understand that anybody that comes to these broadcasts needs to be at the broadcast, right? They must be getting something out of it to be here. And that's why we need to keep doing it. That's why we need to keep holding each other's hands. And, I am so grateful to both Lauren and Jody, who this week, when they're going through their own catastrophes, held mine while I got over my little meltdown. And big thanks to Jody, who, regardless of what she was going through, still took the time to get all the funnies together. So, it's not easy doing what she does, and I am very grateful for it. So, Jody, big hug to you and a big round of applause. Lauren, absolutely incredible adult thinking this week. Well done. Literally. I sat there waiting to see exactly where you were coming from on this one. And I am just really proud of your adult thinking. You cannot possibly be in overwhelm and then have your mom in hospital, and then you are already in need of help. The one thing that I did say to Lauren, and I said it immediately, was get the help you need. In other words, because Lauren is in a wheelchair, she is entitled to certain help. And, for the most part, her mom gives her that help, but mom is in hospital. So therefore, my number one thing was, before anything else happens, get that help organized. Don't think you're being a wuss. Don't think that you're being a pain, whatever. Get the help you're entitled to. Very important. Sandy, have a great weekend. And by the way, Sandy's offered to be part of our team to help us find out how are we going to cope with this. Those of us who are diabetic and pre-diabetic, when we can't get fresh vegetables, when we have to totally change our diets, how are we in the diabetic realm going to cope? And Sandy, I believe, actually, Isabel as well. All right. Those of you who understand what I'm talking about, any research you can do, anything that we can work out to help one another would be awesome. Isabel says, you're all important. I may not speak much, but I love your company, each and every one of you. And Bernice is saying, we know that isn't that funny, but is there more to that? Yeah, I don't, oh, sorry, I missed up something. She said, Jody, hubby and I have been laughing about this COVID thing right now, that it's happening to us because we expected to get it at his work, not here at home. Yeah. We never know where it's going to attack us, right? Yeah, I got it, Betty. Like, I knew I needed to look back. So it's not funny. It's not a funny virus. I just still have to say the fact that they're going to allow 250,000 bikers to go to Sturgis, first of all, should not be allowed, but to do it without masks is just insane. All those people will go back and infect everybody, and your death rates will just continue to spiral up. It's already a gong show. It is going to be way worse, in my view. And I'm sorry to be negative, and I'm sorry to diss the US, but if they allow that, it is insane. And I already can hear people saying, but it's my First Amendment right. And I'm going, yep, to die. Sad. This is DearMamaSal saying, we're going to get through this together, people, as long as we have the ability to do that. And we will continue to do the best we can with the people that we have, and with the friends we have, and the jokes that we have, and the cooking stuff that we have, and anything else that can distract us just for a little while. I'm sending you all a big hug. I will do the countdown on Sunday. This is DearMamaSal saying, remember to look after one another, but please, like Lauren, please remember to look after yourself first, because you cannot, Lauren cannot help her sister if she's not looking after herself. Jody took and Lionel both took the incredibly difficult call of, I would rather be dissed by the family than put myself at that level of risk to go to a funeral or to a celebration of life. Yeah, it takes great courage, people. That's not easy to do. And how many of you can imagine that for so much of your life, you would have done that just rather than be judged? And now it's a case of judge me all you like. I am not putting my life on the line for this. I am not putting my life on the line. And there will be all sorts of manipulation and emotional blackmail that goes with it. Jody, you know that. You're already expecting it. You are prepared, not scared of it. Okay? Well done. I am really, really proud of you both. And as somebody that also didn't go to her parents' funeral, I understand. I totally understand. This is Dear Mama Sal saying sometimes it takes great courage to do things that other people think you should. The word should is a guilt trip. You can all know that standing strong on what is right is far more difficult. And I applaud that, Lauren. And I applaud that, Jody. And I send you both a huge hug and dedicate this broadcast to you. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you. Bye-bye for now.